We need to talk. You know, we've been together for, what, 11, 12 years now? I'm telling you, we've had a lot of good times. You know, all the times we've been off-roading, the repair videos, the cherry bomb videos. But your body just isn't what it used to be. And your get up and go's got up and went. And I'm just really sorry to say, but I found somebody else. But don't get mad. It's your cousin Sierra. Perfect. Alright guys, I'm happy to announce the replacement to the Silverado. We've got this new to me, 2002 GMC Sierra SLT Z71 off-road. It's got about 180,000 miles on it. It was pretty well taken care of because this truck was owned by a relative and he took pretty good care of his vehicle. Got a really good price on it because we basically rescued it from the scrapyard. They were done with it. The main reason, the transmission's out. There's a little bit of rust it's kind of creeping up on this thing, typical GM stuff, but my father-in-law told me about it. His brother was gonna junk it, and he told him, no, don't do that. He tried to talk him into fixing it, just getting the transmission rebuilt on it, because, you know, it's still a pretty decent truck, but they insisted. They didn't want any more. They were just gonna haul it off. It had been sitting for quite a while. In fact, the bed of the truck was completely loaded down with trash. They were just gonna call somebody to haul it off. So my father-in-law told me about it. He knew my Silverado was about on its last leg, so he asked me if I was interested, and of course I was. And so we went to look at it.
Just look at it.
It's going to need some work. There's no doubt about it. It's got a lot of cleaning to do. It needs a good washing. It sat under a tree for a while. It's got sap all over it. Interior's pretty dirty. It smells like a dog in there. It's an SLT, so it's got quite a bit of features in it. It's got four-wheel drive. It works just fine. AC still works. They would not even consider repairing it. They were done with it. They wanted it gone. So basically, we just aired up the tires, and I actually drove it home. If you put it all the way down in one, you can actually manually shift it up until third gear, and so I was able to drive it home. It was a little sketchy, but I was able to drive it home without any issue. So I'm happy to introduce the Rescue Sierra, and we're gonna get this thing up and running. I've got a couple ideas what I'm gonna do with the transmission, but first of all, let's take a look at the truck and see what it's like. All right, let's take a closer look at this Rescue truck. It's been sitting for a little while. Got rid of almost all the trash out of the back of it. It's got a bed liner that holds water, so I'm not real thrilled about that, but yeah, this thing's pretty filthy overall. Needs a pretty good power wash. It's been sitting underneath the tree for a long time, so I'm going to fire this puppy up. It's got 180,000 miles. Yeah, it's pretty dirty. It needs a pretty good clean. I'm not a real big fan of the bug guard, so that's probably going to come off. 5.3 liter. Again, it's got 180,000 miles on it, almost 181,000 miles. It's running pretty good. I take it up and down the road to my in-laws just to run it every once in a while. Drive it around the property just to keep it running. This extended cab that opens because my 99 did not have the 4-door option. It just had the 3. It's got leather seats. Again, it's an SLT model. Looking around, you can see it's definitely needing a clean. Steering wheel's pretty dirty. Some coffee spills. I'm digging the leather seats, captain's chairs. Yeah, the driver's seat's got a little wear and tear, some cracking, some holes. Kind of typical with driver's seats. And a little crack in the armrest. Overall, it's in pretty decent shape. My Silverado does not have a console. It actually has a fold down that acts as another seat. So in my Silverado, you can fit 6 people. Here you can only fit 5. Every once in a while, we would need to carry 6 people. So that was nice with the Silverado. So that's kind of a little bit of a downside. These doors are kind of hard to open, so I'm going to have to look into seeing what might be the cause of that. But again, spills everywhere. It's pretty dirty. There's actually mildew in the truck. When we went to pick it up, the driver's side window was open, and it was letting moisture in. I think whoever got into it last may have bumped the switch, caused the window to come down. They didn't realize it, so it sat for a while. You can see there's some mildew on the paper and stuff in here, so all kinds of stuff to clean up on this thing. Of course, my wife and my son, they deal with some allergies, so we'll have to get this thing pretty much cleaned up, detailed. The seats are in pretty good shape. The driver's seat's a little bit worn, no big deal. There's some odds and ends that, trim-wise, that need to be repaired. This taillight's cracked, so it needs a trim bezel for the rear tailgate latch. It's got a nice diamond plate cover on the bed rail, so that's cool. And it's got a stock muffler on it, so we'll have to do something about that. But it does have some of the typical GM rust popping up on it, so we're gonna have to take care of that probably. The biggest problem with my 99 is the rust on the frame. It's gonna need some attention. It's already starting to rust up pretty good. So my initial thought for this truck is to try to deal with the rust and not let it get like my Silverado did. So the plan is to take the bed off of this truck and go at the frame, get it sanded down a little bit, knock the rust off of it. Tires are in okay shape. The rear tires, they're bald in the middle, so I think for a while these tires were overinflated. Front tires are actually pretty decent. So I'll keep those on there, I suppose. 16-inch aluminum wheels. It's got a lot of the power options. It's got heated seats, power windows and locks. With this SLT trim package, it's pretty much a high-level trim package. It's got all the bells and whistles, but it does not have a rear defroster. Those lines that go through the window are not there. But it's got a really nice under-the-bench storage spot. It's really awesome. I'm really digging this. This is really cool. All the stuff I've got in my Silverado is just crammed underneath the seat, and it falls out, gets underneath your feet and stuff. Keep all my junk in one place instead of all over the floor under your feet. Again, it needs a pretty good clean, so pretty nice. It's definitely a blessing. Thankful for my family to kind of give me a heads up about it and be willing to sell it for the price that they did, and so it'll be a nice truck hopefully for my family. We've got our daily drivers, we've got our Trailblazer, and I've got my 97 Camaro that I drive daily. So I've got two good working vehicles right now. So we're probably not going to drive the Sierra near as much as we did as our Silverado back there. So this will be a truck that we need as maybe as a backup vehicle, or if we need to haul anything, just to be a spare vehicle for us, and hopefully it'll last us 10-15 years, like pretty much like our Silverado did. But again, the downside to this truck right now is it's got a transmission that's out. You put it in drive and it doesn't go. All right, so another item of concern with this Sierra is, although we did pay for it and we do have a bill of sale for it, we don't have the title yet. The relatives are having trouble locating the title. They know they've got it, they just can't quite seem to find it. So that is kind of an item that I need to be considering. I'm not going to touch this truck until it's title transferred into my name, registered and plated and insured, before I go to touching this truck. So I don't know how long it's going to take for them to find the title, but until then I'm kind of in limbo. I just don't want to put anything into this truck until that's taken care of. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what I plan to do with the truck. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the transmission. If you've been following my channel, you know I've got this Trailblazer. I bought a 2004 Trailblazer for parts. The transmissions in these Trailblazers and the pickup trucks are the 4L60E. Budget-wise, if I really want to do this cheaply and get this thing repaired, I can pull the transmission out of the Trailblazer. I'd have to swap the bell housings, but I think the connector and everything as far as electrical connector. I think it's the same. I'll have to look up the numbers on the transmission to see. But I called the transmission shop, a local one that we have here that's got a really good reputation. Talked to the guy, and he said the Trailblazer transmission should go into this thing. They said that they're not the same because the Trailblazer is a lighter truck and the internals aren't as strong as the Z71 Sierra. So that gives me a little bit of concern. I don't plan on towing anything. I don't tow big trailers, so it's really more of a passenger truck and, you know, occasionally haul stuff in the bed of the truck. So that's one idea, is to pull the transmission out of that silver parts Trailblazer and put it into this thing. But that's going to take my time, you know, pulling two transmissions and installing one into this one. That's going to take a lot of time. I certainly can't do it over the winter holiday season and stuff coming up. I don't think I can have any time to do that. So it'd probably be as early as next spring to be able to get started on that. So depending on my schedule, I mean, it's something that I'm not necessarily afraid of doing, but is it the right thing for me and the right thing for my family, for me to use up a lot of my time to pull that transmission out of there? But the second idea I have is to just go pay for it to be rebuilt. I would take it to that guy I was talking to about swapping transmissions, and I asked him about the rebuild process. He said he puts better parts in it than factory. It would be warranted for so many miles and whatnot, but it's gonna be close to $2,000. So if you look at it, the grand scheme of things, you know, I could save $2,000, but I have a lot of time in pulling the transmission out of my parts Trailblazer, pulling this transmission, and then installing it. Probably need some help to do that as well. So a lot of time and effort into it, but I wouldn't be spending $2,000. I'd be out whatever parts or tools I might need and the fluid, and probably wouldn't put a new filter in or whatever. But there would be time and money involved in that swap. Plus I'd be putting, according to the transmission guy, a weaker transmission into that truck. So I don't know, those are my options. I certainly like the idea of not spending a lot of money. At the end of the day, it's still a really good deal, even if I do spend the money to get it rebuilt. So that's pretty much it. That's the new Rescue Sierra, my new toy for the Daninator channel. It's going to hopefully be a good vehicle for us. It's going to need a lot of work still. Been blessed to have it, and I look forward to putting some work into this thing and having a nice truck for the family. So this will be a new project series for the Daninator channel, so stay tuned. We'll have episodes coming up in the future about fixing up of this 2002 GMC Sierra. As always, thanks for watching. God bless. Be sure to hit that like switch on your way out. See you next time. You know, help the guy out.